What is going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden J here. What's going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing extremely well. I hope you guys like that little intro. Obviously, the streaming platform I use, StreamYard, gave me that little feature. So I figured instead of listening to silence as radio or just as whatever you want to call it, uh, the countdown, instead of listening to the silence of the countdown, you can listen to that. So, yeah. So, what is going on, everyone? Let's talk about it. I appreciate that. Before we get into all of today's stuff, please, everyone, smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, subscribe, tell your friends about this channel. Obviously, if you're only baseball fans, let them know we're talking not just Mets, but all things Major League Baseball. We'll start expanding more. Nice we got 15 guys in the chat already. So, I really do appreciate you guys for tuning in already. Definitely LFGM. Drop a Let's Go Mets in the comment section below. And, let's get things started. In today's stream, we are going to be going over the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies series summary, as well as the New York Mets and Atlanta Braves series preview. We are going to have a great time going over all that. And then, of course, following that, we're going to go into all of your guys' comments, questions, and concerns related to the New York Mets. Super exciting. So let's stop wasting any more time. So let's get into Friday's game. Obviously, Friday was the huge game. Friday is what really was the big determining factor of this New York Mets team. Friday was insane. The New York Mets won this game 3-0. Okay, so yeah, the Mets won. What's so special? The New York Mets pitched their first combined hitter and second no-hitter in the history of their franchise. As we know, the last time the New York Mets had a no-hitter was 10 years ago in 2012, done by Johan Santana against the St. Louis Cardinals. So obviously super, super exciting to see that. That was really, really something to really just go down for this New York Mets team. Really exciting. But we had Tyler Mcneil on the bump, and obviously Tyler Mcneil had a phenomenal start. Like I stated, I mean, if a dude's going to go out and pitch a combined no-hitter, he definitely must be doing something phenomenal, and he did. Mcneil went out there, went a total of 5 innings pitched. And obviously you may say 5 innings, why was he taken out? And I guess the biggest thing was the pitch count. In those 5 innings, he had 88 pitches. And obviously, unfortunately, what happened was the pitch count got to the best of him. A lot of guys like Really Muto and Hoskins were putting up long at bats, and I'm talking 7, 8, 9 pitch at bats. So that's unfortunately what got to the best of Tyler Mcneil. And unfortunately, Mcneil did have a little complexities with his secondary pitches in terms of location. So unfortunately, that is really what went down for Mcneil, and he couldn't have gone longer. Maybe he could have went into the 6th inning. Keep in mind, this was a only a 2-run ball game. So, you didn't really want to risk it by leaving him in. Don't get me wrong. I would have loved to see Mcneil in much longer, but you really didn't want to risk it by leaving him in. And, the Phillies get the go ahead or take the lead. And, that's how Mcneil's that night would have ended. That would have been inadequate. So luckily, Tyler Mcneil going 5 innings, surrendering 0 hits, 0 runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, phenomenal outing. Following that, Drew Smith came in. Fastball was pumping. He was electric. The velocity was there. Struck out 4 batters. Dominant. Dolly Rodriguez came in. Walked 2 hitters. Got into a little bit of a jam, but got out of it. Seth Lugo was able to help him out. Seth Lugo, he's looking good. Could Seth Lugo be back? His curveball's looking very marvelous, I will say. And then following that, Edwin Diaz came in to close this game and struck out the side. This was a very symbolic moment for Diaz because this was, I guess, really one of the few times that, the crowd was really chanting for Edwin Diaz. And, people say, oh, this is the closest thing that Diaz could have to pitching,
the last 3 outs of a World Series, and I absolutely agree with that. I think that is the closest thing that Diaz would have had right now. Obviously, he didn't pitch much. Obviously, the Mariners never really made the playoffs when he was there, but this was the closest thing to, I guess, a playoff outing. So really good to see Diaz get that. Obviously, my heart was like dropping. I mean, it was the meat of the Phillies order, and I mean the whiffs, the strikeouts. I mean, just phenomenal. His slider was on point. I mean, he just really looked up to par, and I think that was the most nastiest I've ever seen Edwin Diaz, in my opinion. I will say I've never seen him really look that good in an outing. I mean, the slider was on point, just phenomenal outing there. So that was the pitching. Mets had a combined no-hitter. As we know, in terms of this offense, it was a little quiet, but hey, the offense, they were able to get runs in. Jeff McNeil in the bottom of the 5th inning had an RBI single to center to drive in both Eduardo Escobar and Marcana to make this a 2-0 ball game. And then later on in the 6th inning, Pete Alonso had a solo home run to left to give this game a 3-0 lead. Obviously, Tyler McGill gets the W. He's 4-0 in the season. Aaron Nola gets the loss, 1-3 on the season, and Edwin Diaz gets his 4th save of the year. So that is game 1 of this series, getting into game 2. The New York Mets lost this game 4-1. Very unfortunate, but hey, you can't win them all now, can you? Obviously, we had Taijuan Walker on the mound coming back from injury. Did pretty well. I don't really have any complaints for Walker. 5 innings pitched, surrendering 2 hits, 0 runs, 2 walks, a strikeout. Pitch count got a little high, 73 pitches. So, we can say that. Obviously, that was, maybe a little unfortunate there. But with McGill, the splitter slider was unbelievably on point. He looked good. I mean, the velocity was up there. Coming back from, an injury. I mean, he looked good in his A-ball start, but he really did look good against this Philadelphia Phillies team. I really will give Walker that. He did look pretty good. Unfortunately, for Walker, he couldn't get much offense under his belt. Following him, Trevor May came in, only gave up a hit, went an inning, only 12-pitch inning. Arguably could have went another inning. Debating on, I guess, how things could have went, because following that, you had Adam Ottavino come in with runners on. And we know Adam Ottavino is not a good guy with runners on and with runners in scoring position. He surrendered 2 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. And then Sean Reed-Foley came in. I don't know why Sean Reed-Foley would come in, and if it's a 3-0 ball game, I think that is completely foolish. But he came in and extended the Phillies lead, gave up a run. And then Chasen Shreve came in to finish things out, striking out the side. So, what went wrong in this game, in my opinion, following Trevor May's outing, it was only 12 pitches. So would you have given Trevor May the extra inning? Well, possibly you could have. I mean, it's still questionable to see. This game could have went a million different ways. We've seen how a lot of Mets bullpen pitchers are when they go into more than one inning. They can get a little oofed up. So would you have wanted May to get a second inning? Well, you probably could have put in Chasen Shreve. I don't care this lefty, righty. Keep in mind, I think it was Schwarber and Harper. So boom, that gives you credit there. So I think you could have done something like that. In terms of the offense, it was pretty quiet. In the 5th inning, Francisco Lindor had an RBI ground out to bring in Brandon Nimmo. Otherwise, pretty quiet night. I mean, the offense was pretty quiet. The offense was pretty quiet. Nothing really happened. Ottavino gets the loss. So that was an unfortunate game too. But getting into game 3, Sunday night baseball on ESPN, that's where really things wanted to blow up. The New York Mets took this game by a score of 10-6. A phenomenal outing for the New York Mets. They really needed this. We had Mad Max Scherzer on the bump, and I will say Scherzer, he looked good. I don't think he looked super great, but luckily his offense was able to bail him out. That's the biggest thing with Scherzer, is his offense was able to help him out. Scherzer went 6 innings pitched, surrendering 5 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and 9 strikeouts. When Scherzer first came out, he struck out the side, and then going into the 2nd inning, he struck out the first 2 batters until he gave a homer to Kyle Schwarber. But Scherzer looked good. I mean, unfortunately, the long ball was a little bit of an issue. 2 of those to Kyle Schwarber, and then obviously one of those to Bryce Harper. But I will say, I mean, he didn't look bad. I mean, obviously, if the Mets didn't put any runs on the board, yeah, I guess it would have been considered a bad outing by Scherzer. But for the least to say, I mean, his offense was able to back him up, and I think that's what good baseball teams do. I mean, we're going to see the Mets, pitching go out and, only give up 1 run and 3 hits, and they're going to lose the game because they're not going to be able to score 1 run. That's going to happen. But we're going to see games where the pitching is going to give up 7 runs, and then the Mets are going to score 10 runs. So little stuff like that. I mean, that's what makes baseball super exciting. And hey, that's awesome. I mean, I'm all for it. Score runs. I mean, it's really ambiguous, I guess you could say. There's multiple ways for baseball to go about, and I guess that's one of the things for the Mets. And we saw a lot last year. They would get in situations where their starting pitching would keep them inbound. But unfortunately, their offense last year would just not help them out at all. And they would just be non-existent. And that was unfortunately the case for them last year. So, really good to see the Mets on a different mentality. So, following Scherzer, my apologies. Following Scherzer's outing, Dolly Rodriguez came in, been good. Seth Lugo came in, quiet. Juan Lopez came into the 9th to close things out, give up a home run, nothing bad. He was called up. I believe he was sent down today once again. But getting into this Mets offense, they definitely did have a great series. Obviously, getting things started into the 2nd inning, Starling Marte had an RBI ground out to drive in Eduardo Escobar. Following that at bat, Luis Guillorme got into some action, almost barreled a ball to deep center, almost gone. He had a double to deep center to drive in Dominic Smith to make this a 2-1 ball game. Following that, into the 4th inning, Dominic Smith got into some more action. And what did Dominic Smith do? Dominic Smith had an RBI double to right to drive in Eduardo Escobar. Really good to see there. Following in the 5th inning, Francisco Lindor does score on a wild pitch. So that was really good. And then following that at bat, Dominic Smith had an RBI single once again, a 2-run RBI single to drive in Jeff McNeil and Pete Alonso. So really good to see there. Score runs, score runs, score runs. That's what they did. Getting into the 7th inning, Pete Alonso had an RBI single to drive in Francisco Lindor. Following the 7th inning, Francisco Lindor, Starling Marte has an RBI single to drive in a Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil. And then in the 8th inning for the last hit, or for the last run of the night, Jeff McNeil had an RBI double to left center to bring in Brandon Nimmo. Really good outing there. Scherzer is 4-0 in the season. Tip of the cap to Dominic Smith last night, going 4 for 4 with 1 run, 3 RBIs. And of course, Jeff McNeil going 4 for 5, 2 runs, and an RBI. McNeil is currently batting .361 with an OPS of, I think, like 960 something. So phenomenal outing from Jeff McNeil, I will say, for the least. Really impressive what we are seeing from this New York Mets organization. Very impressive. So the Mets took 2 of 3 from the Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously, that was a big thing, like I said. Obviously, looking at this team, you're facing 3 division rivals in a row. Obviously, we faced the Phillies. Now we're going to face 4 against the Braves, and then 4 more against the Philadelphia Phillies. So 8 games to go for a division rival. So, if you want to get stuff done, you're really going to have to start and, get your stuff together. So that was really good to see. But getting into, I guess, the big stuff. Now, getting into the series preview with the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. The Braves will be coming to Citi Field for the first time this season, and the Mets will be playing the Braves for the first time this season. On the bump tonight for the New York Mets, we'll have Chris Bassett. Obviously, Chris Bassett is coming off of an inadequate start, but hey, still 3-1 on the season, an ERA at 2.25, a whip of 0.92, 24 innings pitched, and 26 strikeouts in total. Biggest thing for Bassett, be aggressive. Don't get a lot of these hitters fearful, as I guess, he has in the past. I mean, he's really aggressive. He's not fearful of a lot of these heavy hitters in the league. He'll go out there and challenge a lot of these guys in the meat of, these teams lineup. So that's my biggest thing for Bassett. Be aggressive like he has been. And then obviously for the Atlanta Braves, they will have Max Fried on the bump, the left-handed pitcher. And I guess my biggest thing is, the Mets do have their fair share of complexities when facing a lefted hand pitcher. So try and put up some good numbers. Mets do have some pretty fair numbers against Max Fried. I do know they do have some solid numbers. So try and get through some things there. Game 1 will be tonight at 7:10. Super exciting. We'll see how things can go. Getting into game 2 of the series, which will be tomorrow. Tomorrow, game 1 of a 2-game doubleheader at 3:10. We will have Carlos Carrasco on the bump for the New York Mets. Currently 1-1 on the season, 4.09 ERA, 0.95 WHIP, 22 innings pitched, and a total of 23 strikeouts. Carrasco's been looking good. He's been getting out of the first inning. He definitely got a little roughed up in his last start against the Cardinals. Not super worried about that. He definitely did give up some unlucky hits, I will say. Like no barrels or anything crazy like that. Just some unfortunate lucky hits that the Cardinals offense was just able to go out and swing, at crazy locations of the zone. So really not crazy about his bad stats, as you could say. Overall, not worried for Carrasco's sake. And then, of course, Charlie Morton will be on the bump for the Atlanta Braves. Obviously, getting into Game 3 of this series and Game 2 of tomorrow, it is a doubleheader, which will begin at 6:40. For the Braves, they will have Kyle Wright. And for the New York Mets, it is undecided. It could likely be David Peterson. As we know, Major League Baseball says that you are allowed to expand the roster by one in the scenario of a doubleheader. So we could see David Peterson get called up again from AAA. That could possibly happen. Maybe you go for Trevor Williams. I mean, I would rather not see an opener start just because our bullpen has been, very busy these last couple of days. They've been getting the job done, but still, I just don't want to pressure this bullpen. Keep them at the pace they're doing. They're pitching well. Let's keep it that way. So maybe Trevor Williams can come in and give you 5. Peterson, maybe they give you 3 and you go for the bullpen for the rest. I'll take that. And then finally, getting into Game 4 and the final game of this 4-game series, which will be at 1:10 on Wednesday. We will have Tyler, the GOAT, Mcneil on the bump for the New York Mets. Currently, we know Mcneil is 4-0 in the season, a 1.93 ERA, 0.86 WHIP, 28 innings pitched with 27 strikeouts. Mcneil, this is his first outing since the no-hitter against Philly. Biggest thing for Mcneil, keep command of those secondary pitches, be cognizant with the pitch count. So that is my thing for Mcneil. And then obviously for the Atlanta Braves, they will have Ian Anderson on the bump for them. So this is going to be a really interesting series, I will say, for the Leafs. Super exciting. There is going to be a lot of takes. Personally, in my opinion, I would like to see them split it. I think a split is very reasonable. Anything more than 2 wins, if they could take 3 out of 4, that would be phenomenal. But I just don't see that. I think a split is reasonable. That's the worst I'll accept, and that's the best I'll accept. Maybe 3 wins would be the best, in my opinion. I think a sweep is likely, but I think it would be very, very rare, especially against the Braves. So let's get into all your guys' comments. I see you guys have exploded the comment section with a ton of comments and thoughts. So I really do appreciate you guys for that. So what's going on, everyone? Jed, Seth, Allison, Karen, Stony, what's going on? Appreciate it, man. Trey, what's going on? YouTube Productions. Mets are looking good indeed. Mark's here. What's going on? Ibindo says, hey, Hayden, let's go Mets. How are you? I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Stoney says, W, take the series tonight, and we could bear anyone in any other series. Yeah, if the Mets, the Mets have won 7 series in a row. That's really rare. So I'll take it. Seth, what's going on? Jay Boogie says, I think we split the series. Yeah, I think so too. That's rational. Cal, what's going on? Daniel, what's happening? Daniel says, good to see the Mets organization letting players know if you aren't producing or you will be gone. Yeah, I definitely do want to get into Cano. In terms of Robinson Cano, I think it was for the best, like I said. When you look at Robinson Cano, the Mets are in a win now mode, and I think Cano, in my opinion, was a distraction from that. I've stated on these past streams, and I'm going to echo it. Cano had no power. All of his power hits or whatever, barrels as you could want to say, were popped out to the first base side, the foul line. He had no power. His swings looked effortless. He had no speed on the base pass. We saw him in that, I think it was the St. Louis series, where he tried to hustle out that single. He got thrown out at second by a mile. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad he's gone. I think it's for the best thing. You cannot have this dude in the lineup. He just, in my opinion, he was an automatic out. He needs steroids, unfortunately, in my opinion, I think, to be a good ball player. Who knows? Maybe he definitely can. I just think the Mets don't have time to deal with Cano as it is. And I wish him the best of luck. That's all. I wish him the best of luck. I know a lot of people weren't fond of him over his past decision-making. And, listen, now the Mets are going to have to eat out his contract. Obviously, they're going to have to eat out that $37 million. But listen, I'd rather do that. I'd rather listen to the Lol Mets and Bobby Bonilla, yada, 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 than deal with this dude. Because we see how Dominic Smith was playing. And the fact is that this dude puts himself out there to show I'm not going to get sent down. That's what, Cano should have been doing all along. And he looked lazy. And don't get me wrong, I think Cano could definitely have a role with this team, whether it's a bench coach or something like that. Coaching type of thing could definitely work, but it seems that that's not going to happen. Colby, what's going on? Marco, what's going on? It should be fine now. Merlin Full, what's going on? Yeah, Cano, see you later. Sayonara. Trey says, gave Cano a chance and he didn't produce. Move on. It's the right move, especially compared to demoting Dom Smith, which wouldn't have made sense. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the point is the Mets gave Cano a chance. It's not like, they went out there opening day and said, no, we're not going to give this dude a chance. They gave Cano a chance. They let him go out there. They gave him chances at the DH. They gave him opportunity to play second base, and he just played like crap. So, it's not like the Mets just went out there and said, okay, we're not going to give you a chance. They gave him a chance, and he didn't perform. They gave him a month, and I think that's fair. Don't get me wrong. He didn't play an exact month. But, we were seeing this dude, with these effortless swings, looks so lazy. What's the point? You have to put in a hustle is my honest opinion. You have to put in a hustle, and that he just didn't. He just looked lazy, and he didn't put in a hustle. So why should he be on this ball club? Hayden, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Robert, same to you. Appreciate you tuning in, brother. Trey says, this is how we know the Mets ownership and management is serious to committing at all costs. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know the Mets said that they're fine, willing to eat $37.8 million, and I think that's fair. Obviously it would be really sad, for the Mets not to eat it. I mean, and just say, okay, well, we don't want to eat that money. We're just going to get the best out of you and play. If the Mets did that, I would have been upset. And I think if the Mets sent down Dom Smith or Luis Guillorme opposed to Cano, that would have really been an issue. I think Billy Epler made the right move. I really do. Billy Epler really made the right move. It's obvious. He made the right move. Yeah, Cano. Goodbye, Cano. Jay Boogie says, Saturday was the game. I went to it. Citi Field has great food. Nice, man. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Yeah, I haven't been to Citi Field since 2019. I have not been to Citi Field since 2019. And obviously the food options have changed there quite a bit. Yeah, so I mean, usually when I go to games, I'm pretty basic with food. Like, I'll get like a burger and fries, a hot dog. Like, I don't go around and get all this crazy stuff. I definitely do want to try the polar bear burger. That is one thing. Next time I go to Citi Field, I live in Florida, so I don't go to many Met games at Citi Field. I go to a lot of Marlin games and a lot of, fish, tropical food, which is all right, but I much prefer the Citi Field food. But that's good to hear. Hope you enjoyed yourself, man. Connor says his roster spot was a redundancy, but that's a lot more money for any owner to swallow. It's mediocrity, and that's how it should be. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I think the fact that Cohen was just overall willing to pretty much just say, sayonara, Cano, we don't really care about your contract. I think that's really the best thing, because I guarantee you 5 years ago, and I hate to bash the Wilpons, but if we had, Fred and Jeff running the team, I guarantee you that they would not be willing to eat $37 million and not have a play. He would be playing. I guarantee that. And whether it's a bench role, whether it's an everyday starter at the DH, the point is he would have been playing. And I think that would have been an absolute disaster for this New York Mets ball club. So just overall, really happy that Cano is just gone. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be on here and shit on Cano and, say, oh, he's horrible, but I just think it's for the best. I think it's for the best of the Mets. I think it's for the best thing for Cano. Obviously, I think it really is the best thing. You saw how a lot of these guys produced last night. Dom Smith, he proved himself. I mean, JD Davis, we'll see how he goes, but it's going to be a lot ahead for this Mets team. Peter, what's going on? Peter says, what a series, taking 2 out of 3 games. I'll take it. Phenomenal. Kitchen, and good to see our offense go off when needed. You know it, Peter, 100%. Take series wins. I'm not asking for sweeps. Take 2 of 3. That makes you like a 90-something win team. Go for it. Take series wins. Kobe says, if Mcneil and Smith are locked and loaded, this roster can definitely compete against the Dodgers. Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, Mcneil McNeil's been having a phenomenal season so far, no doubt about it. He got rid of that launch angle nonsense swing that he had last year. I mean, he's choking up the bat well. I think he's keeping one stance. And that's a huge thing for, a guy making contact and swinging, especially a type of hitter that Jeff McNeil is. So really interesting to see McNeil, obviously. Dom Smith, he's looking a little bit better. So we'll see if this team can compete. But we got 18 people in the chat currently watching. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns related to the Mets, don't hesitate. Drop it below. Cal says, Tyler Mcneil is going to be something special. Great to see him part of Mets history with that no-hitter. You know it, man. Absolutely. I mean, phenomenal to see. Yeah, phenomenal just to see Tyler Mcneil get involved in the Mets, early on. I feel this is a dude that is really going to get a lot of publicity and a lot of favoritism early on in his career. And I really do think that's going to be the best thing for for Tyler Mcneil coming ahead. Sorry about that. Yeah, so good to see Mcneil really get in on the action. Stoney says Scherzer kind of scared me with the runs he was giving up. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that worried. I mean, he got barreled a little bit, gave up the long ball. I'm not going to sit here and panic, but yeah, unfortunate to see. iHeart Sports, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you tuning in. Definitely check out iHeart Sports. Great guy. Him and I are definitely going to be collaborating in the future. What's going on? Good weekend. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Mets had a phenomenal weekend. Really good weekend for the New York Mets, taking 2 out of 3 from the Philadelphia Phillies. Very much needed series win, of course. And now we'll see. Can they have a good week? They had a good weekend. Can they have a good week? We'll see. Elliot says Mets clearly mean a lot of business by getting rid of Cano, and you love to see it. Yeah, I'd agree. I think they really do mean business by just overall not really having an interest in Cano. I think, like I said, Cano, he was just slowing down this team. And yeah, I mean, I could sit here for 30 hours and say what was wrong with Cano and, how bad he was for this team and, yada, yada, yada. It was the best move. It really was. Trey, what's going on? Trey says, give the Mets credit for making the difficult but correct move. Dominic Smith, J.D. Davis, and Luis Guillorme are more valuable. My apologies to the Mets, who want to do big things. Cutting Cano was the right call. Yeah, and I think if you cutted, a guy like Dominic Smith, or J.D. Davis, I feel it's too soon, in my opinion. I really do feel it is too soon to give up on those guys. I get it. J.D. Davis has his complexity, hitting the four-seam fastball. I understand that, but I'm not going to sit here and panic and say, oh, we need to give up on JD. No, we don't. Give him time. And I really am hoping that JD Davis can, really try and get something under the belt very soon. So it's going to be huge. I mean, we're going to have to see. Can JD Davis really, be big to this offense? I mean, if Davis can come back and really show some stuff, I would be really scared, for the NL East. So we'll see. Kobe says, who has been the Mets MVP in April? So in terms of the pitching side, I guess it's a cross between Scherzer and Mcneil. Really tough to say. But in terms of the offense, I'm going to go Jeff McNeil. I mean, McNeil has just really bursted out this season. I mean, like I said, he got rid of that launch angle swing. He just looks like his old 2018 to 2020 self, that all-star caliber player. And who knows? He's been a utility man. I mean, I didn't really think defensively would affect him for his offense. Maybe he's just better all over the field. I don't know why that would affect him in the batting. I don't know why that would affect him in the batter's box. But hey, baseball's weird, so you never know how that stuff can honestly work out. So we'll have to see honestly how things go ahead. For a lot of this Mets offense, but I think it's obviously Jeff McNeil. I mean, really has. So, yeah, super exciting, obviously. Marco says 7 straight series wins. Let's freaking go. Just keep taking series wins or splitting them. Yeah, like I said, I'm not asking for sweeps. Sweeps would be awesome. But you know what? If the matter of the fact is, if they can just win series, I think that'll really, really gonna help them out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he only gave up 3 runs. Daniel says, I like how the Mets manufacture runs without hitting. A home run last night. Mcneil is on fire. Can't wait to see the Mets when they are clicking at all cylinders. And that's a good point you brought up, Daniel. They aren't hitting much power. Keep in mind, I mean, Alonso has 4 homers. Lindor has 4. Like McNeil has like 1. Nimmo has 3. Otherwise, the long balls, I mean, McCann and Davis have, 1 each. The long balls have really not been a big thing for this team. And it's crazy that we're scoring, 10 runs without hitting a single home run. I mean, who on earth would have thought, really, who on earth would have thought that this team could score runs just overall without hitting home runs? Just insane. Really is. Electric Voltage, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in, man. Good series, absolutely. I will say you're fighting Philadelphia Phillies. Definitely put up a good fight this series. Definitely, I believe you guys play the Rangers now, so good luck to you guys. Who pitches tonight? Is it Bassett? Yes, Chris Bassett is on the bump tonight. Daniel says, I don't get some Mets fans saying I don't know baseball when I expect the Mets to sweep a 4-game series against the O's, Reds, Nats. They have a lot of keyboard warriors online. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, People wanted us to sweep the Diamondbacks, that 4-game series against the Diamondbacks. And you got to realize, they're a Major League Baseball team too. This isn't a little league team or a college team. They're a baseball team. If you look at the Nationals, people were kind of saying, oh, beating the Nationals is easy. They kind of have a nice core. I mean, you have that Cruz, Soto, Bell core that isn't bad. Obviously, if that's like the meat of their order and, if you're trying to get out of, top of the jam with that, yeah, that could be an issue. But I see what you're saying. Kobe says, will the NL East be another year close race with a 500 record? It seems so, just because, I don't get me wrong. I think the Mets are up there. I think the Phillies definitely have made plenty of adjustments, obviously defensively, and the pitching is going to be the biggest question for them. Hopefully their bats can get hot. Braves are interesting. They brought back Ronald Acuna Jr. The pitching, I guess, has been somewhat adequate. Obviously, the Marlins, I think the Marlins are going to be the biggest shock. Marlins, in my opinion, I think can be a playoff team. If you look at this Miami Marlins team, they have a lot of young talent. They have a lot of pitching. They have a lot of young left-handed pitching. And in the NL East, the NL East teams have been known to have poor numbers against lefties. But that aside, they have young talent. They have a lot of speed, a lot of young athleticism. Turn singles into doubles, steal on the base paths, and with a good manager in Don Mattingly, I think that can be accomplished. I really do. Whether it's Chaz Chisholm Jr., Jesus Sanchez, they really do have a fair core there. I'll give them that. Peter says, I would much rather have seen DeGrom throw a no-hitter, but there's plenty of time for him to do that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I would love to see a DeGrom no-hitter. Who wouldn't? But yeah, I agree. You have plenty of time. Yeah, Marlins can definitely be a team to compete. Matt Olson. Coach Dante, what's up? Kobe says, are you worried about Starling Marte? The dude hits way too many ground balls. Yeah, that was really not a big surprise when we signed him. We know that he's been a dude to not really pull the ball, not really have a high launch angle. Like I said, he's not really a power hitter, so that's going to be the biggest thing for Marte. If he was a power hitter, and he had that ground ball percentage, I can care less, because if you're hitting the ball 100, 110, 100 miles per hour to the third baseman or shortstop, yeah, that's going to be an issue to field. I get it. Marte does have speed, so that does avoid the double play. Don't get me wrong. You don't want to, get a runner out and him safe at first. You don't want that. Yeah, am I worried? It's kind of been what's expected. It's the same numbers, ground ball ratio. He put up in Oakland, he put up in Miami. Definitely, I don't mind him in the lower part of this order if that's going to be the case, because I would hate to see Nimmo get on and then boom, double play. So I wouldn't mind that. I know he's had a slow start. I'm not super worried. The walks have been a little quiet. I will say he hasn't been walking as much. He's maybe, be a little bit more selective when taking pitches. He's been taking a lot of cuts. He really has. He's trying to hit for some power a little bit, which we've been seeing. I wouldn't mind him towards the end of this lineup, even when hitting to his expectations. Why? I like having a Cano and Marte towards the end of this lineup, because it's good to have that it's good to have a high average hitter towards the end of the lineup. I think that could be really good. That way it's, you have your 9th, 1st, 2nd hitter. Boom, you can get something rolling there. With the DH spot, obviously that helps out. McCann, catcher's offense has been quiet. I will say McCann, though, has been producing a lot of hard hit, a lot of hard contact and barrels to center field. So that's good. But yeah, overall, Kobe, I'm not like worried. It's been what's expected, but if he's going to keep it up, that's going to be an issue. Stoney says, you think if our bullpen falls apart, what do you think of some trades at the deadline? Yeah, Mets, regardless of their bullpen situation, even if it's good, they're still going to go after an arm because just pitching in the bullpen is like the one simple position you go after. In my opinion, I think maybe a guy like Mark Melancon could be something. Keep in mind, I mean, you got to look at what teams are out there that are just really not going to be in contention. And it's tough because we have no idea what teams are going to be in contention, what teams are going to be looking like, what the Mets' main issue of concern is going to look like coming July, the end of July. So, I mean, as of right now, I think the bullpen is just something safe to say. Maybe you go for a guy like Mark Melancon. I think that could be fair, be that 7th, 8th inning setup man. I mean, obviously Diaz gets the 9th. I mean, I would love Drew Smith to be the setup man in the 8th. Maybe Seth Lugo gets the 7th, but we know, obviously a lot of Mets coaching staff doesn't like to have Lugo go back-to-back days. So, maybe you get Melancon to go that 7th inning or something like that. Or, if Drew Smith ever needs a day off, or if it's not a safe situation and you don't want to use Diaz, then you use, Melancon. He could be an opportunity. I'm trying to think of teams. I mean, it's tough, like what teams and what their situation is going to look like. I mean, the Diamondbacks are a safe bet to say. I mean, maybe the Reds. I mean, seeing how they're going to be playing. Maybe the Cubs. I mean, we'll have to see. Do you think the Marlins? Yeah, I really do think the Marlins are a legitimate contender. I really do. Daniel says, I love seeing Philly fans cry and moaning when the Phillies lose. The team I will be scared of is the Padres when they got Tatis, Snell, and Clevenger back healthy. I think the biggest thing for the Padres, in my opinion, is consistency with a lot of players. We saw last year, Will Myers, Jerickson Profar, Eric Hosmer. Those guys had a great first half, and then they went to a shit in the second half. They're really inconsistent. Tatis and Machado, yeah, they'll be consistent all year. But a lot of that core will not, and that's going to be an issue. Let me get that. Their rotation definitely let them down last year. I'll say that. I think the Padres are a good team. Don't get me wrong. I mean, even without Tatis, I still think they're a good team. I mean, one player doesn't carry the team. But I think when Tatis comes back, that'll really help out this Padres team, I think. And, I mean, they're still, what are they, like 13-7? So they're still good. Just the NL West is really, competitive. Elliot says, do the New York Mets have the best starting rotation in baseball? I think they really do. I mean, and that's without Jacob deGrom. I think they do. I mean, right now, when deGrom comes back, you could have deGrom, Scherzer, Bassett, Carrasco, and I'd like Mcneil to be in this rotation. I really think Mcneil has proved himself. Obviously, the innings pitched is going to be a concern for Mcneil. Only going 73 innings pitched max in the minor leagues for his career. He's going to pass that in like this or next month. So maybe, do you want the Mets to go in a 6-man rotation? It's a possibility. I don't think they're going to go that route. Maybe you have Walker as that sixth starter. He's of injury concern. Could you put him in the bullpen? Will that mess him up? Could be. So we'll see. But yeah, I think they do. Marco says, glad to see Taijuan Walker look good his last start back from the IL. Hopefully deGrom can be next to return to be healthy and to his usual stuff. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I know his MRI looked clean and he's starting light activities. So we'll see if he can get healthy and get back ASAP. YouTube Productions, what's going on? That's a good question. Who runs New York, Mets or Yankees? Well, they're both first in their leagues, but I guess the Yankees because they have one extra win. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, Mets have the better pitching, in my opinion. But maybe the Yankees got the better offense. I mean, Rizzo has been really taking advantage of that short right field porch as a left-handed batter. Judge has been, on a nice spree. Stanton, they've really been providing some good offense. Merlin Full says, I expect to win 2 of 3, 2 of 4. Would be happy 3 of 4. Yeah, I agree 100%. Peter said Jeff McNeil is a hitting machine. Love that McNeil is back to just pulling the ball. And no more of that launch angle style swing. McNeil is a star like 2019 and 2020. Yeah. And I think McNeil definitely does have a little bit of that launch angle swing, but he's not doing it as much. Like you'll see him take a lot of uppercuts, a nice swing and a miss. He'll take a lot of that. But hey, I'll take it. If he has the opportunity of hitting a home run, McNeil's not a power hitter. And we saw him do that in the second half of 2019, and his numbers went down. And I think that's what he tried doing a lot last year. But yeah, if McNeil, and we haven't seen a whole lot of BABIP from McNeil. Like we haven't seen a lot of BABIP to shallow left or right field. If that happens, he's going to be dangerous. McNeil just puts the ball in play. He'll beat the shift. He'll hit to the third base side, drop a bunt. He'll hit the ball up the center. He'll hit the ball hard to left field. He just puts the ball in play regardless. So really good. Harley the Salami, what's going on? He says, loving the season, walking around like Conor McGregor after nearly every game. Yeah, hopefully they can keep it up. That's the biggest goal. Kobe, what's going on? Kobe says, very good to see Seth Lugo have back-to-back outings clean. I think he's an important guy in this Mets bullpen. I agree 100%. I think if Lugo can obviously be healthy and be consistent and get his command on the breaking pitches, the breaking balls, were his number one issue last year. And then in the small sample where he struggled this year, that was the biggest thing for him. And I really do think if Lugo gets those breaking pitches under control, especially the curveball, he will go back to his dominant self, his 2019 style. I feel ever since Rojas, tried putting him in the rotation in 2020, I really think it really screwed with him. So, obviously, Lugo, I love the dude, but I don't think he's a starting pitcher. I think he thrives best in the bullpen. I think it's pretty obvious. Yeah. Cal says, have you seen the Mets Mother's Day hat? I have. They look okay, I guess. Nothing crazy. They looked all right. Well, it wasn't, they looked all right. Harley, what's going on? He says, do you think second base is one option? We still need that elite level player. No, you have McNeil at second base. McNeil's going to be, a utility guy, whether that's second base, left field. Maybe he'll play some third base periodically. But no, I think second base is good. You have Jeff McNeil there as your majority second baseman. You have Luis Guillorme as a backup. So point is, second base is locked down. It's not like, Cano is going to be a big piece there anyways. Trey says, do you think the Mets are a World Series contender as of right now? Yeah, I think if they keep it up, they can be. Robert says, you ever been to a Rays game since you ever live in Florida? I went to one. Yeah, went to one last year. Connor says, what do you think? Who do you prefer behind the plate, James McCann or Tomas Nido? I prefer, it's kind of tough. It's honestly a little bit of a mix. It really is a mix. A part of me likes the defense from Nido, but the consistency is something. I will say McCann he's been looking a little bit better defensively. I will say the framing has been a little bit better. He's been calling a good game. I'll give him that. So as of right now, I guess McCann. Karen, what's going on? The Mets are hot. Yeah, they're looking good. Should Dominic Smith get most starts at DH? Yeah, Smith against lefties. If Davis can pick it up, he could face righties. If JD Davis doesn't produce, will we see Mark Vientos up here? He's not having the best season, keep in mind, in A-ball now, but that's what he's been used to, so it's a possibility. Not said about Cano. Yeah, me neither. I've asked a lot of questions today. Might ran out. No, you're good. Ask all the questions you guys have. Brave Series is the big test to see how really good we are. Yeah, I know that they're like 2 games under 500, but this could be the perfect opportunity for the Braves to get back into the swing of things. I Heart Sports, what's going on, buddy? Daniel says Mets are hot. They do have some hiccups in their bullpen. Yeah. Like I said, they have their hiccups, but you get by somehow. Connor says, I think the Mets cutting Cano will relax Dom Smith and JD Davis more and help those two perform better. Have the two of them rotate at the DH spot, depending who is pitching. Yeah, that is going to be something interesting. I really do believe. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I really do think. I think that's going to put a lot of slack. I think that's going to cut a lot of slack out of those two guys. Because I mean, I definitely think that Dominic Smith definitely. I don't know. I agree with you. I think they can be a little bit more relaxed, knowing that they have a definite DH spot, because we've been knowing that Showalter is constantly wanting to play. Robinson, Cano over those two guys. And even if Cano, let's say they didn't cut Cano, but let's say Cano is getting those DH spots to start, I'd rather have Dom Smith and JD Davis. Yeah, maybe they're not going to be good, but I think they're going to put up much better numbers and at least try more than, Robinson, Cano. So, yeah, we'll see. I think the Mets cutting Cano. Yeah. Thomas says, when do you think the Mets will call up catching prospect Francisco Alvarez? Yeah, they're not going to call up Alvarez for quite a bit. As of right now, what you have to realize is I've always been big on This is what you got to realize. I've always been big on calling up prospects young. Like, I've always complained that the Mets call up a lot of their prospects super too old, I will say. I mean, we've been seeing, all these Mets guys, debut, 25, 26, 27. And I'm down for, the next 21-year-old Met prospect to make his debut. I'm down to that. But I think the biggest thing is Alvarez is a different position. He's a different guy. Catcher is that one position that I have an exclusion for. If you're talking about a shortstop, if you're talking about an outfielder, yeah, you can call them up 2021. But Alvarez, catcher, it's a completely different position. The concentration, the complexity of it is really going to be a bigger toll than other positions. Let him develop more. Offensively, I'm not really worried. I think there's always room for improvement. He's a power beast, so I'm not worried. But hey, keep doing what you're doing. Keep, practice makes perfect. And then in terms, obviously, of defensively, yeah, I think there's a little room for improvement defensively. So I'm not really that worried defensively or offensively. I just would hate to see him called up and he doesn't do well his first year and he gets sent down. That would really suck. So that's why I'm not going to sit here and say, the Mets, should call him up. As of right now, no. Next year. Trevor May needs to get his act together or else he'll be gone. Yeah, the fastball needs to he needs to work with his fastball a bit better. But I bet the Mets will have one hit by pitch each series, says Marco. Yeah, it's possible. What's up, Jonathan? Appreciate you tuning in, brother. Trey says Steve Cohen is not messing around. We all knew that DFAing Cano was the right move, but $37 million is a lot. All clear message that this organization is here to win at all costs. No pun intended, let's effing go. Absolutely, Trey, I agree. I didn't expect Marte to be tied for the team lead in RBIs with Polar Bear. Marte broke out of his slump last night, hopefully being dropped down in the lineup. Yeah, like I said, just because they're moving, just because they're being sent down isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I think the double play thing with Marte definitely is a factor. Yeah, I agree. Miami is definitely going to be a good team this year, I think. Actually do some questioning. Yeah, DeGrom should hopefully. I know DeGrom started like light exercises, so maybe June, July. Timothy says, adios, Cano. Yeah, adios, Cano. Peter says, scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel with our bullpen? I'm going to give a 6. 6 out of 10. Biggest rivalry in baseball, says Kobe. Ooh, that's a good question. Biggest rivalry in baseball. I'd like to be classic and say like Yankees or Red Sox or Mets and Phillies, but Dodgers and Padres has been picking up. So, there's so many rivalries out there. It's hard to determine which one's the best. Brewers and Cubs also. LFGM indeed. Do you think the bench coach? Yeah, I definitely think Eric Chavez has a play. Daniel says, to be honest, I was expecting more production from Eduardo Escobar. Yeah, me too. But he's walking. The OPS is there. He's walking, so I'll take it. But I was hoping to see a little bit more power from him. But there's time. LFGM, indeed, Peter. Since Cano is gone, they might bring up Ronnie. They could. I will say, if you want to talk about Mauricio, I did read one little thing on Twitter today in regards to our old friend, Ronnie Mauricio. Obviously, taking a look at Ronnie Mauricio. I sent something in a chat. Let me pull it up. Ronnie Mauricio obviously is. Mauricio. Let me find it. They talk so much in here. Mauricio hit a 110-mile-per-hour home run yesterday. Ronnie Mauricio has cut his ground ball rate about 10%, which has led to a 50-point increase in isolated power, ISO, through about 70 plate appearances. So that's going to be huge for Mauricio. Really could. Who knows? I mean, he could be a DH candidate possibility. I mean, keep in mind, shortstop, Yael Lindor, maybe third base. I mean, once Escobar is gone in 4 years. Or 2 years. Joe says Mets feel bad about cutting Cano. Shouldn't feel bad. He had a great full career. Yeah, Joe, I agree. I mean, I think the biggest thing, with Cano, it's crazy that, a lot of Mets fans liked him in the past when he was with the Yankees and Mariners, and who would have thought that the dude would have got booed. So, yeah, really crazy. LFGM, indeed. The Nolan Arenado situation, yeah, I don't know why he got all upset about that. It was just really, it made no sense that he got upset about. He didn't even get hit, so why is he getting upset? Probably going to call it a stream here, everyone. I really do appreciate you guys for tuning into today's stream. As always, LFGM, really do appreciate you guys for tuning into today's stream. As always, as I said before we started the stream, smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, tell your friends about this channel. Obviously, the goal, let's try and get to 700 subs. Let's try and get to 700 subs by the All-Star break. That is definitely the number one goal. Joe, I agree with you. Yeah, Binghamton and Syracuse, A-ball has been looking good, I will say. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Hit that like button, turn on those post notifications, tell your friends about the channel, subscribe, all that great stuff. We got a lot going on for the Mets, obviously super exciting. A lot going on for this New York Mets ball club. A lot of good stuff. They are looking good. I think this will be a big series ahead, 4-game series against the Atlanta Braves. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. As we know, in today's stream, we went over the New York Mets and Philadelphia Phillies series summary, the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves series preview, and obviously your guys' comments, questions, concerns, including the Robinson Cano little issue. So that's out of the book. So we'll see what's going to go on for this Mets team. How will they address the DH role? Obviously, Juan Lopez was also sent down. So how will they address this DH role? Can this team be consistent? That's going to be the biggest thing. So I appreciate you guys for tuning into the stream as always. LFGM, I will repeat again, if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream or video. And LFGM, if you have to make an account for your dog, your cat, go at it. LFGM, let's go Mets. Till next time, baseball fans, see ya.